scheduled to play tonight?
Yeah, he's looking good. So, ready to go.
How much at all, Don, has Calgary really changed? Different head coach, a couple younger players in the lineup, but for the most part, the personnel's mostly the same from what you guys saw last year.
And in preparation, it's early in the season, obviously. So when you're talking about change, I don't know that any teams had time to change or implement a whole lot. You're just getting your bearings, and the players are just getting their bearings, really, is the big significant factor. So that said, you would look first and foremost, anyways, at the personnel. And when you look at that lineup, it's deep and strong. From Markstrom on out, heck of a group of defensemen, very talented and very competitive, and likewise up front, a pretty good spread of talent and compete. You watch their games as you would any other time in your pre-scout in the last few games. You usually pre-scout at least 3 games back, and that's what they've played, and it shows up significantly in all of those.
Don, how much was yesterday really the first time you had to start seriously looking at the schedule in terms of managing your guys, knowing 4 and 6 and 3 and 4 was coming?
Yesterday was an optional day for that reason, that we're now feel like you're into the season with a little bit of wear and tear from some games every other night, and more of that, or a little bit even more than that, in the next 5-6 day stretch here. So you're in a routine that now you've got to balance your rest ratio with the work ratio.
We were talking yesterday about the PK and some of the personnel. Rasmus hasn't been on it, I guess. Is that like a roster, or a minutes management thing? Is it just the increased depth? You have other options?
Yeah, when you think of the penalty kill for us, and whether Rasmus is on it or not to this point, we have other personnel that's very capable, obviously, with the additions of Clifton and Eric Johnson, and then Mattias Samuelsson was always our top guy in that role, or with that in that area of penalty kill. So it's, if you don't need to use Rasmus Dahlin in that situation, and he can come out right after a power play, and you think of who might be on the ice in the other team after that, and some advantages you could have in a matchup that way. It's attractive to reduce minutes for Rasmus in that area.
When did you start seeing the Thompson line being more like their line? Was it like maybe in the middle of the Islander game that you saw maybe they started moving in the right direction?
I think that's a good marker, Paul, which is only, the second game of the year, or halfway through the second game. But when I went back through the film of that game, I thought they looked better and were more in sync and in a rhythm as that game went along. And then when I watched it back on film, they could have had 3 goals just as easily as they didn't have three goals. So they're close. There's too much skill there and too much familiarity for that to linger. And they're a trio that's dangerous at any moment. So you can keep them down for quite a while, but if there's one slip up or mix up, they're 3 guys that are talented enough and now familiar enough to execute really quick against you. And it's the least of concerns for me, really, those 3 guys.
The early part of the season is kind of tricky for special teams to get going. I know power play is still kind of a work in progress. What's helping those units be less static, less standing around, being able to work?
Well, the first thing with the power play, we haven't had many, and you fight frustration right away because you haven't been on it. You're not getting any rhythm, and then there's been a few where you get it for 30 seconds of a power play. You get the remnants of a power play, and it counts as one power play, but you really didn't even get your power play group out there, and that might happen a couple times. So you factor all those in. We really haven't had much power play time in game, and when you have ultra competitive athletes throughout the league on power play units, that's not real conducive when they don't get on the power play, and then they finally get on it and they haven't had reps. They usually bring in some frustration fairly quick. On the flip side, we've been able to take advantage of that on the penalty kill. Teams have, it's 1, 2, and 3 games into the year. We've been a little bit more aggressive, and that's as power plays aren't settled in quite yet too. So, but I'm not. I think the power play was proved that it was pretty damn good last year, and I think it'll get to that point this year.
When you put Peyton Krebs on a power play, what are the attributes he has that you like to see on a power? Is it his vision that is his best attribute, or what is it you like about him when you put him on a power play?
Well, the position he's in, the attribute that's needed is compete. He's down low, he's along the goal line, retrieving pucks, getting to the net front, recovering that area. That's all compete and battle and scrap and whatever. If he was on a flank up on the half wall, you'd see more passing and more creativeness. So his role with where he's at now is what I said first.